y'all, watch Little Rascals. I got 2 pickles today. Hey, hey, are these kosher? It's Kristen, and today we are discussing the new Seth Rogen film, An American Pickle. Seth Rogen plays double duty in this film as an immigrant worker who falls into a vat of pickles. 100 years later, he emerges in present-day Brooklyn to find out that he hasn't aged a day because the brine preserved him perfectly. He ends up meeting up with his last remaining descendant, also played by Rogen, and hijinks ensue. I hope you enjoy this early spoiler-free review of An American Pickle, and check out the film when it premieres on HBO Max. Consider subscribing if you like my videos, and drop down in the comments and let me know, is An American Pickle a film that you're interested in? Are you planning to check it out? And what is your favorite Seth Rogen film? I have to say, most recently, my favorite has been Long Shot. I thought that it was kind of a different role for him, and I loved seeing him in that like sort of romantic comedy light. So let me know what some of your favorites are. So An American Pickle was directed by Trost in his first solo directorial debut. He's worked as a cinematographer on numerous films and is a frequent collaborator with Seth Rogen. And the concept for this story actually came from a 2013 short story called Sellout, written by Simon Rich. Now immediately what stands out about An American Pickle is its wacky premise. A man from the past emerging in present day after being preserved in pickle juice. Like, it's so goofy. And as silly as that is, I think that this film is definitely a dramedy in that it tackles some deeper topics too, like the American dream, embracing your roots, heritage, family honor. And I think Seth Rogen does a really solid job in portraying these two very different but still cut from the same cloth characters in Herschel, who comes from the year 1919. You know, he has a very old-fashioned mindset, and the modern day Ben. And what's really wild here is that Seth Rogen is really carrying this film himself. You know, there are a couple of other actors that have cameos, but the main focus is really on the 2 main characters that he's playing, and I imagine that must have been a really challenging project as an actor to take on. You know, because he's literally playing opposite himself. I would say the big highlights for me in this film were the first act and the third act. So in the first act, we're really focused on setting up the stage, setting up this world, and setting up, you know, this very funny pickle situation. And we're also jumping into modern day and getting that sort of fish out of water story, and it was really fun to see that kind of amazement of what it's like in modern day from Herschel's perspective. Just simple things like seltzer water is like a luxury. And then in the third act, I think we really get to see these 2 characters form a deeper bond and realize that they both do have a desire to bring pride to the family. I think another interesting concept that they bring up is this idea of like meeting your relative from the past or meeting your relative from the future. And what would that be like? Would you like them? Would you get along? Would you have the same ideals or same things in common? And I think that's really where we're trying to go in the middle of the film, but I think that's sort of where the story begins to waver. They sort of start to set up all of these antics, and Ben and Herschel sort of become enemies in a way, and I think it just feels a little bit overdone. While An American Pickle definitely had its moments, it feels like a film that hasn't fully figured out what it wants to be. Is it a goofy story about pickles? A deeper story of family and building a legacy? A time-crossing tale of rivalry? A satire on politics and free speech? Or just a film poking fun at Brooklyn hipsters who will pay an exorbitant amount of money for artisanal pickles? On paper, this project seems really brilliant, really hilarious, but I don't think that it sticks the landing. It tries to do so much that I think even the script can't fully be saved by the great dual performances by Seth Rogen. If you guys like this one, you can check out more of my movie reviews right over here, and I will catch you in the next one. See ya!